Hello everyone and welcome. In this video I'm going to explain the bubble sort algorithm. This is a very simple and elementary sorting algorithm, really easy to understand, so let's get right into how it works. So assume we have this array right here and we want to sort it using the bubble sort algorithm. How's this going to work? Well, we're going to go over every single element of the array starting at the first element, which is 8, and we're going to compare successive elements. So we're going to compare 8 with 3. 3 is smaller than 8, so we're going to swap those two and we are left with 3, 8, 5, and 1 that remain unchanged. Then we're going to compare 8 with 5. 5 is smaller, so we're going to change those two. We're going to be left with 3, 5, 8, and 1. Then we're going to compare 8 with 1. 1 is smaller, so we're going to change those two, and we are left with 3, 5, 1, and 8. So this is the first iteration of the algorithm. And notice that basically what we did is we took the biggest element of the array and we pushed it to the end. Now we're going to do the same thing for the element 3, for example. So we're going to compare 3 with 5. 5 is greater, so we're going to leave it as it is, 3, 5, 1, and 8. Then we're going to compare 5 with 1. 1 is smaller, so we're going to exchange those two. And now this is the second iteration. What we did is we took the second largest element of the array and we pushed it to the end. And now we're going to do the same thing with the rest of the elements. We're going to compare 3 and 1. 1 is smaller, so we're going to exchange those two, and we are left with the sorted array. So this is how the bubble sort algorithm works. Basically, we're going to compare successive elements of the array and exchange them if we have to. Now, let's talk about the time complexity of this algorithm. So, as you can see, we're going to have an iteration, since we're going to go over every single element of the array, and then in each of those iterations, we're going to have first n-1 comparisons, then we're going to have n-2 comparisons, we're going to have n-3, and so on until we get to 2 comparisons, and finally 1 comparison, and then we are done. So this is going to leave us with a time complexity of O of n squared in both the worst and average cases. Now let's talk about how to actually implement this algorithm in code using C++. So I am here at VS Code. Let's actually implement the bubble sort algorithm. All I have here is the bubble sort function that is going to take in the array that we want to sort and the size of that array. And then I have my main function where I have the array that I actually want to sort and a little loop that's going to print all of the elements of my array. So let's get started. The first thing is I'm going to create a temporary variable here, and then I'm going to create two loops. So I'm going to say for int I equals 0, I is smaller than size, and then I plus plus. This is going to be the outer loop that's going to go over every element of the array. And then for int j equals 0, j is smaller than the size minus I minus 1. And here the reason we're doing minus I is we're not going to compare with every single element. We're only going to compare with the elements that are not yet in their correct position. And for that reason, we have to do size minus I so that we don't do unnecessary comparisons. And then of course increment j. And now let's compare. So if the array at index j plus 1 is smaller than the array at index j, then that means that we need to exchange those two. So I'm going to say temp equals array at index j, then array at index j equals array at index j plus 1, and then array at index j plus 1 is going to equal temp. So we're going to exchange those two elements like so. And this actually concludes our bubble sort algorithm. It is really that simple. Let's actually use it down here. So I'm going to say bubble sort with the array. The size is going to be 6. Let's just hard code that in there. And now I'm going to run this code. Let me pull this up so that you can actually see. And as you can see, all of the elements of my array are going to be in the correct position. Now, the nice thing about the bubble sort algorithm is that you can also change the way that you're sorting very easily. So for example, if I do instead of array j plus 1, array j, I'm going to do array j and then array j plus 1. And if I run this now, as you can see, the array is going to be sorted in the opposite order. So really fun algorithm. And there's also another optimization that we can do, which is we can add a Boolean variable here called done, which is going to be false. Then each iteration, we're going to set done to true at the beginning. However, if we make any exchanges, we're going to say that done equals false. And then down here, all we have to do is say if we are done, then we break out of the loop. And this is going to keep us from making unnecessary comparisons, right? So from the moment that we don't have any exchanges happening, we know that our array is sorted and we don't need to keep going with the algorithm. So we're just going to break away from it, right? And if I run this now, as you can see, this is going to output the exact same thing. So that is all I wanted to show you today. This is how you implement the bubble sort algorithm, and this is how the algorithm works. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. I hope it was easy to understand, and I'll see you in the next one.